What's up, everybody? Oh, let's see what we got going on today in the PPPs, people picking process news. See what kind of stuff we can turn up today. Exclusive interview with Pennsylvania Senator and President pro tempore Jake Corman on current investigation into 2020 people picking process results. So what this means is they ruled yesterday or today, forgive me, that the court, the Dems, the Rhinos, Dominion, they all tried to thwart what was about to happen here. The people picking process checking. Okay, so what happened is they weren't able to do that. So now that's actually moving forward. And a little bit about this is last night we reported on this week's court rulings related to Pennsylvania Senate's investigation of the 2020 choosings. Results in Pennsylvania. Rhinos, Democrats, Dominion, voting machines are all trying to prevent investigation from moving forward. And they're going to keep on. That's going to be something that we're going to be looking at, and that's okay, part of the fight. After his interview on Steve Bannon's War Room, Senator Jake Corman from Pennsylvania joined TGP's Jim and Joe Hoff for a brief discussion about what's going on in regards to the 2020 election investigation in Pennsylvania. Senator Corman shared, "I think transparency is always important in state government, in all governments. And so our job is to make sure we have a clear understanding of how it is conducted, and so people can make up their minds, and then hopefully we can make policy decisions moving forward to bring that sense of confidence back to our selections." Well said. I like that. Jim asked Corman about his comments on Bannon War Room shortly before his call when Corman mentioned there's a video of people dropping papers into the drop boxes, papers being, and Corman responded that this is all caught on Lackawanna County. It's all caught in Lackawanna. I'm butchering the word. Sorry, people down there in Lackawanna County. Maybe I've got it wrong or right. Where an individual were putting multiple papers into ballot box, which is not legal, which is not. And Corman, when talked about the many problems with drop boxes and ultimately that they were put into statute, and there is no regulation or standards of security, Corman shared. Yeah. And they did that by design, by the way. And I quote him, "We don't know what went on in a lot of these areas because of the thin air they created these drop boxes. Again, the wrong thing to do at the wrong time." Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. I'm going to bring some more up. I'm going to be right back. Yeah, and another thing here. Mr. Trump 45, our wonderful president we had, was on an interview with NPR interviewer, and never really did much with those. He didn't, because of the fact that they're just so far left and trying to push an agenda. But this time, I guess he just to take them up on the humor and see what happens. And of course, it turned into a sort of a fiery call because it was an attack on Trump and what's going on. And a lot of people are two ways on what's going on there. I know Trump recommends the jab, and we know that it's deadly. I don't know what the exact 3D chess is with that, so far as, why he kind of promotes it to a certain extent. I don't care as long as he is about freedom of choice. I guess if, technically there's a lot worse out there so far as substances and chemicals that are on the street right now that are legal that we know will damage you, and if you don't have to do it, you can just stay away from it. Somebody recommends it, just stay away from it. As long as they're not pushing it. So I don't know. There's some 3D chess taking place when it comes to Trump and what he's talking about so far as recommending the jab. But to get back on subject here, the call consisted of that, and it also consisted of several conversations about what happened in 2020 so far as our integrity with our selections. And so he stood behind that, and he said that, in all honesty, it's pretty obvious what happened. He's like, and if you want to get behind it, he said, they insinuated that he was telling people for him to endorse you, you've got to push whatever they want to call as the big lie. And he said, no, they do whatever they want to do. I said, I'll endorse them. They can do whatever they want to do. I have no say over what goes on. But I will say this much: if you look at the ones who are actually on that subject of the integrity issues of 2020 and our people picking process, those are the ones that are doing really well in the polls right now, because everybody knows the significance behind the whole fact. What happens when you have a clown show banana republic style selection process. So it's good that I don't really understand the whole. There's, like I say, there's probably a lot more to what's going on behind the scenes than what we'll all ever know, to be exact. And I'm just glad that as long as a man doesn't say that it was a mandate. No more mandates. Double jabbed 18-year-old Brazilian model dies after developing blood clots due to COVID and somethings. Okay, all right. And another thing, we know about what happened with Bob Saget, and some more information has come out about him pertaining to a certain position they found him in when they found him in the hotel room, passed away. That his position of sleeping goes together with, looks like there was some sort of, either had a heart attack or a stroke, because it looks like, because those are painful things. They can be painful when it happens, and so your body can kind of like contort. And they said and he's, we know he's three times over on the one. We'll just go that right there. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, gotta answer the phone and be right back. Oh, here's some good stuff right here. Back too, by the way. Break-in report. Officer Mike Bird was never even interviewed by DC police before he was exonerated for what happened to Ashley Babbitt in cold blood. He did not. She was unarmed. There was no warning about gunshots to be fired. So, July the gateway. Let's see. Let's see what's in another woman and Trump supporter Roseanne Boylan was killed by police, Capitol Police, outside the U.S. Capitol. That was the one that was getting. She was beaten by police, if I'm not mistaken. They were claiming that they were giving her CPR, but that was when they were beating her to death. So that's two women killed. So let's see here. Ashley Babbitt was gunned down in cold blood inside the U.S. Capitol. She weighed 98 pounds and posed no threat and no weapons. Yeah. And he was exonerated without any. U.S. Capitol Police was never formally interviewed by D.C. Metropolitan Police Department before being cleared of wrongdoing and fatal shooting of Ashley Babbitt during the January 6th Capitol riot, according to report from Real Clear Investigations. Which, by the way, he's the same man who was put on paid leave for a week, or had some kind of suspension due to the fact that he left a loaded firearm in a bathroom. Yeah, somebody found it and turned it in, and it was his. Didn't provide any statement. They didn't push him to make any statement. Roberts' claims appear to be backed up by MPD documents obtained by Judicial Watch, which has confirmed that Byrd declined to provide any statement at all. And that, talk about some dual-tier justice system. So, let's see here. Yep. All right, back again. So, what's this guy's name here? Jake Herman. Alabama Trojan horse candidate waging war on conservatism. So what this dude is he's sort of like a bait and switch type fella. Plays on the sides of veterans because, well, he was in Black Hawk Down. He was in the airplane that was shot down, and it was, so he has this like story, which is a good story, where he was incarcerated, POW, rescued, and all this stuff. So he has a pretty good gimmick going for him right there. So, but what he does, he's been awarded by Obama. Obama loves him, pets him on his head. He is tied to big tech. He's also tied to deep state entities. He's also a globalist, and he is known for some of his prior work as somebody who was, we have this thing called Agenda 2020, 2021, 2020, 2030, 2050. And these agendas, if you look these up, you can Google them. They're worded very friendly and very, very sunshiny, to where it seems like a wonderful thing for the world when it sees to leave nobody hungry and all this stuff. But you've got to remember, they don't talk about the tactics behind some of the stuff that they're trying to do. And one of the main deals to keep anybody from being hungry is depopulate the world. That means the mass genocide of many people, lots of people. And he's a part of that. And so what he does is he's he's supposed to be somewhat of a GOP Republican, and he was on the voting records up until 2008. The organization is called, let me look for the organization right quick so you can kind of understand. It's called the More Perfect Union. If you do want to do any more research on this, please look it up. More Perfect Union. This guy right here is a Trojan horse, and he's got a lot, he's getting a lot of money dumped into his campaign right now. So, and we all know how that works. We know about the truck driver who spent, I think it was $100. I don't know. It was a real minuscule amount of money, and half of it was, that money was to feed the people that did the video for the day. You know, took everybody out to eat for lunch, and then he was up against that other mayor who spent millions of dollars. So, you know, money's not everything, but this goes to a telltale sign of what you can see of what's trying to take place here. And he's buddying up with all these veterans. I feel bad because he's taking advantage of people, because a lot of these veterans are vulnerable because they're really sad about how the country's going. So when they see somebody that looks like they're going to do something, then they'll latch on to this stuff, man. And people know this, so that's taking advantage of people. Anyhow, I'm going to look for a little bit more news on anything that has to do with our 2020 people picking process, and then we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much. I'll be right back again. Well, we know things are rocking and rolling in Pennsylvania. So I'll tie this all together right quick. We're going to wrap it up. Biden slips up, calls Kamala Harris president again, and also says that he was arrested, falsely claims that he was arrested back when he was marching in the civil rights movement with Nelson Mandela. By the way, Nelson Mandela was an awful man. That is a terrible, terrible man. Him and his wife both were extremely violent terrorists. I said that, and I mean that. And I'll tell you this much right here. You can do some research on your own. If you look up what Nelson Mandela's wife was, she was known for they coined the phrase a necklace. And what that was they would take an old tire and they would tie somebody to a pole or a post or a tree. And they would put this tire around their neck. And they would fill that tire up with kerosene. Then they would light that tire up on fire with kerosene in it while the person burnt alive around their face until it killed the person, and while they'd have a bunch of people that would be having to stand there and watch that. And this is when they were taking over people's land and farmland, reclaiming it supposedly out of equity. Nelson Mandela's job was he was the enforcer. He rallied the troops. He ran the people. She did the intimidation tactics and propaganda. And he was cleared by the government to do that. Just kind of like, we'll just call that a toned down version of the Antifa that we see nowadays, which it all started from somewhere. I promise you, they just didn't put the first tire on that. They started off acting the way they did, kind of like what they see now, if not put in check. You'll see situations where this happens. So anybody that claims that they're a fan of Nelson Mandela doesn't really know what he was about, or his wife. They were awful people. So, and then, Fauci on a hot mic calling GOP Senator Marshall a moron, and then shares picture from Rand Paul calling for his firing. I'll link the stuff in the descriptions and all, but all I can say is it's definitely a crap show. And who would have thought we would be seeing shenanigans like this? We knew government was weird, but man, let me tell you what. So, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love out there. God is in control. Check out all the new stuff going on the Fox and Archibald Show on This Way Network. Shannon at Devoted Patriots. Sweet Home, North Carolina. That guy's up and coming YouTuber, working real hard for us, trying real hard to get the word out. So give him a sub. You know, maybe help him out a little bit, because he's in the fight with us, man. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, everybody. Lots of love. Have a good evening. Bye.